lost a piece of my cheap overalls today and I fixed it with a hairband.
That's punk rock.
Hello and welcome back to the 4th episode of Do You Know What the Fuck You're Doing? We took an end of summer hiatus so that I could get my shit together. And we're back with Kathy Schraf. Spoiler alert, she is my cousin. And she is the founder of Anti-Clothing Company, and I will allow Kathy to explain what that is and what your hustle is.
So went to BCU Arts, went to the fashion design program, and I was in like my junior year, I think. And I was like, oh my gosh, I really care about sustainability, and I like wanted to like have a minor in sustainability. Screw it, I'm just gonna do everything that I can to incorporate that into what I do anyway. Like I can kind of self-teach myself about it. So yeah, basically I got really into discovering ways of upcycling textiles because the amount of textile waste in this country, this world is absolutely insane. So I'm a thrift dumpster diver.
Really like the idea of not just restructuring clothing supply, but also it sounds like you almost want to restructure the idea of thrifting. Our concept of buying and thrifting and when you should feel entitled to a certain product,
Yeah.
you know?
Which corporate America has shoved down our throats. That's why I first wanted to go and work in the corporate, world of it, because I was like, oh, let me like actually really want to make a difference from the top. But I just could not sell my soul like that. So then I was like, okay, let me get back to do what I do. And I kind of like to, so what I work with is the post-consumer textiles.
Okay.
Which, pre-consumer is the yardage that you get from Fab Scrap. Just like throwing that brand out there. It's a great brand. I've definitely worked with their product before, but it is like scrap yardage from post-industrial use. So like when, I don't know, what's a good example? I guess you could say like Target maybe, but sometimes like bigger, nicer brands, they don't need this fabric anymore, and then Fab Scrap gets it and uses that. What I do is then I go dumpster diving into the thrift stores and I try and find things that are not necessarily desirable. Like I would never take apart a pair of like beautiful like corduroy like jeans that were like ready to go perfect, but I try and find the things that have holes in them maybe, or maybe they're just like kind of frumpy looking. They're just like not a current design that anyone would like actually, that I would want to wear. So basically everything's like, oh, would I wear this? So like get the clothing in between that can be salvaged. Just now, I mean, I love working with t-shirts because that's
I've got some t-shirts for you. Do you know what the fuck you're doing?
So I have been waiting for this question because I want to say, like, I want to like kind of go against the grain and be like, well, yes, I know what the fuck I'm doing because I am so aware of how I'm just winging it. Like,
so the plan is not having a plan.
Exactly. But the most important thing for me is that I never stop working on it.
That's perfect.
So, yeah.
I love embracing that instead of having an expectation of having a certain amount of knowledge, just being like, I'm going into this blind and the sewing machine might catch on fire, but that's part of it. But what has been a big learning curve for you? What's something that you didn't totally anticipate was going to come up? Or, it sounds like you anticipated a certain amount of difficulty, but is there anything that was like, holy shit, I didn't plan for that?
My sewing machine.
The sewing machine. Okay, cool. That's fine.
Like
that's a valid answer.
But I don't want to keep talking about that because it makes me sad. I've been trying to deal with it.
Don't internalize a mechanical error. Girl.
No, like I know this, but yeah, I would love to think of something.
But also, it's a hard time for all of us.
Seriously.
Do you think your story resonates with a lot of artists, including myself, where when we graduated from school or when we got out of high school or when we decided to pursue this career, a lot of us decided like, what if we tackle the industry from the inside? Like, what if we took the inside track? And I think a lot of us, the reason that we ended up being independent artists is we found that to be unfulfilling.
I wish I was the person that was able to do that. And then at the same time, when I say that, I'm like, no, I'm glad that I'm not that person. It's not to knock anyone that is on the corporate train, because I do think that there needs to be like, I do think that there needs to be like the young, more sustainably minded generation, you know, Gen Z mindset of, okay, let's bring sustainability into everything. And
for a minute, toast to the young, sustainable Gen Z millennial people who are in their industries and trying their hardest to change those industries. We are not knocking you. We love you. We need you.
yeah, no,
We are
seriously,
not as strong as you.
I kind of miss wearing clothes.
I wore a pair of pants like with not an elastic waistband recently, and I was like, ooh, I feel like I'm in butt prison. In what area of your career do you currently feel confident?
I don't know. I think my biggest accomplishment is just saying no to what I did not want to do and saying yes to let me just figure this out on my own. So I think like so far my biggest accomplishment is just, you know, the first step.
Don't even say anymore. That was so beautiful. So I have a theory that other people are also behind the scenes kind of wrecked. So if if you relate to that at all, how do you deal with FOMO culture or comparison culture?
I relate to it so hard. I was so happy when I was listening to the previous episodes of just the fact that this conversation was brought up because the relevance of it is insane. Especially, I mean, I don't know, like I feel like I like evolved with Instagram. Like I was 16, I think, when Instagram became a thing, and I remember having it.
You're like a cusp millennial Gen Z.
Instagram Reels now. Have you been watching those now? They like Instagram basically just like copy TikTok.
Listen,
And
I don't have time to do that.
okay, well, here's what I'm thinking of for myself of I see all these creative people that are using Reels as a way to highlight their work in a way that people easily want to watch. It's like it's the way that people are digesting and ingesting media nowadays. And honestly, I'm trying to think of ways of how can I incorporate that, like, you know, doing like little like process videos that I'm doing to make it into a Reels. Like I think I need to not be FOMO about it and I need to just do it.
I love that. That is the first time. First of all, everybody's answers to that FOMO question have been amazing and necessary, but that's the first time someone has said I deal with FOMO by fucking doing it. Thank you, Kathy Schraf, my beloved cousin, for chatting with me today about the Anti-Clothing Supply Company. I encourage all of you guys to follow this company on Instagram. All of the links are in the caption. Because she makes really beautiful stuff. And I'm not just saying that. You were in my wedding, and the night before my wedding, I decided I wanted sleeves on my dress. And you were a champion. If I had any of my drink left, I would cheers you. But I'm just going to say
That's okay. Well, thank you so much. Yeah, I just want to say thank you for anyone who does follow me after this, and I will be working on creating some awesome content coming up. I took a shower for this, and then I
I
put
didn't
like
do any of that.
over that